Hi everyone, I just thought I'd share with you my attempt to breed waxworms. I bought a tub of them from Pets at Home approximately about 2 months ago, can't remember, but I fed some of them off, but I let about 15 of them pupate into moths. I put the pupate in this tub, which just consists of oats mixed with honey. Not too much honey, just so that it's a crumbly consistency, not like really sticky or anything. Now a lot of people use wax paper or greaseproof paper, but I didn't have any. So all I did was just put little pieces of gauze in, and when the moths hatched, they started laying eggs on this gauze. Now I looked on YouTube for videos of how to breed them first, but nobody seemed to show the eggs or what size they hatch out at. I could just get a light on that. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Don't know if it's focusing there for you. You see there's quite a few eggs in each hexagon of the mesh. Now I've had these at about 26 degrees, 26, 27, and I was thinking, I've not seen any signs of larvae. You know, are these the eggs and they've dried out because my substrate is perhaps on the dry side? But when I hold them up to the light, they do look translucent. So I've had another look through the substrate. The moths have died off quite a few weeks ago, to be honest. But I'll just leave the tub where it is in the warm. And I've sifted through the substrate, and to be honest, I thought, I'm not going to find anything. I don't think it's gone well, but these are so tiny, you're not going to be able to see these. I don't think. They're so minute. They're tending to be in the wetter patches. Just turn that over. See, there's... No, I'm looking through the monitor on the camera, and I'm thinking you can't see them. They're so tiny. I'm trying to think what to compare them to. See, you can maybe just about see on the camera some movement there. I can tell they're tiny baby waxworms, as opposed to just, say, maggots of fruit flies. There haven't been any fruit flies in this tub actually, even though it's got air holes in it. But I can tell the waxworms opposed to maggots because they just look different. They've got that little brown head. And they've hidden again. I've no idea how many there are in here. But there was a lot of eggs on the mesh, so as long as these all hatched out, this tub should be quite full of them. I don't know how long it takes, to be honest. I'm wondering if to keep them a little bit warmer, maybe a degree or two, because it just seems to have taken a long time. I didn't write down any notes, so maybe it's not as long ago as I'm thinking, but So yeah, it does work. Just put your waxworms into substrate like this, let the pupae hatch out into moths, and you will end up with more little baby waxworms, which I'm in need of desperately, really, because one of my leopard geckos prefers them to anything else. She's become really fussy. Right, there's two of them, one's slightly bigger than the other, there in the middle of the picture. I think that's as close as I can get. Yeah, it's just gonna go blurry. Okay, so that's how tiny they start off. They could be even tinier than that, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't think there was anything in there, but there could be videos available on YouTube or wherever, but I wasn't able to find them that show the actual newly hatched larvae or the eggs. But, well, you can see how minuscule they do start off at. I don't think they like the light, actually. I've put them on my hand because every time I uncovered some and got the camera ready, they dug themselves back deep down into the substrate. There's a better look at the eggs. In each hole there's a cluster of, I would say, at least 20 eggs if the hole was filled. You know, so I mean, you're talking, I mean, some of it's broken off, but when you're thinking 20, 40, 60, 80, you know, counting them all, look at them all. That's an awful lot of larvae that could be in the substrate. I think the light's too bright to show you that they're literally just like a bit of frosting, and I can see through them. But to be honest, they look like that when they'd just been laid, unless I'd missed them hatching, and they hatch really quick, but I would have expected them to have grown bigger than they are in that amount of time. I was thinking of adding more honey because it is on the dry side, but I'm not going to risk drowning them in honey at that tiny size, so they seem happy enough. I'll just leave them, put them back in the warm, maybe a teeny bit warmer, just to accelerate the growth a bit. That's the fussy one, the normal coloured one. I know waxworms are really fattening, but she really does need it. She used to be like super chunky when I had her on her own, and then I bought a male and a female to put in with her. Now, she was bigger than these two. Originally I bought these two as babies. But they've not bullied her or anything like that, but she's just not been eating good at all. She's quite bony, there's no fat in her tail. I've put them into this bigger vivarium so that she can get away from them if she wants to. Hopefully she'll be on the up though, because she is eating the waxworms, but I've tried everything else. I've tried mealworms, crickets, even pinky mice, everything. It's just the waxworms she's interested in. I don't believe she's ill or anything, it's just that she's only been like that since these two arrived a few months ago. She started putting weight on again at one point, but she's gone downhill again. I'm not sure if the other female's actually carrying eggs. That one's the male. Him and the other female have imperfect tails. Now when I bought them, I was trying to explain out of the vivarium that they was in which one I wanted her to get out. And I was saying the ones with imperfect tails, and she said, what do you mean imperfect? I said, the ones that they've lost the tails at some point. And she denied that they had ever had, but they quite obviously have. So there you are. If you've bred waxworms yourself and you've got some tips for me, I'll be very pleased to hear them, because this is my first attempt. I've bred locusts and things before, but I'm new to these. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave your comments. Like I said, if you've any tips or advice. Bye.